Let's have a beautiful experience. In this video, we're going to talk about your thoughts, how to naturally increase your testosterone, your human growth hormone, and make your penis bigger. It's a beautiful thing. You gotta love it. All right, before we get started here, please do me a huge favor. Please ring the bell, subscribe to the channel, tell some friends. Of course, give me that Arthur Fonzarelli thumbs up like so I say, hey. And of course, follow me on my social media. I go by Jesus_Detroit on my Instagram. Snapchat, I'm YOUNGDAYGO. That's right, in this video, it's all about your thoughts, because you know what we're about here in the BCC. The Big Cock Consciousness, the Big Cock Collective, where I help you manifest a bigger, wider, thicker, longer, stronger, and harder penis. Help you naturally raise your HGH and your testosterone. I'm a spiritual guide and a mentor here to expand your mind and increase your size. So without further ado, I'm here to tell you about your thoughts. And give you some background. It's a winter advisory over here in Detroit Rock City, and I've been out there snow blowing, skin glowing, hair flowing, body growing, spirit knowing that your thoughts have to do with everything that you're doing. And it's something as simple as, being in a winter advisory and having the snow blow all day. Your attitude and the way that you look at, your perception and everything changes your reality that you're in at the moment. And you could be out there just all like, all right, I want to be done with this, I want to go in the house, I want to be done, and just have all this, these thoughts just kind of bog you down. Or you can be like, you know what, let's look at this for the fun of it. Like, how would you look at it when you were a little kid? And that's essentially the truest way to be, because a little kid is more unconditioned as more adults are, because when you're just in that free-flowing spirited motion of just being connected to source energy, or God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, just being able to just smile and understand that this is a beautiful moment. That's what it's all about, because it's all about having fun every step of the way. And of course, that might sound like, not every moment's fun, but essentially it can be. And the more fun you're having, the better off you are. And just remember, when you're smiling, you're winning. So when you're out there, you got the snow blow going, you got your get up on, you just got to start smiling for no reason. And all of a sudden, things just become easier. And I swear, just get out of your own way and just follow the smile as long as you can. And me, every single day, I'm always doing that wu-wei flow, the path of least resistance, not doing things in a particular order, but just going with them as they come, going with the flow. The Tao is the way that I go. And every single day, the way I got to start it before my feet hit the ground, the sound. Take this breath with me. I got a shot today. I feel beautiful, because gratitude is the attitude. Don't forget that, man. Every single day when you are just full of just having the gratitude attitude to put you in the receptive mode for the growth. And what we're talking about here today is your thoughts. And like I always say, if you want beauty to appear, you got to keep this clear. You got to be a clear conduit for growth, because you got to understand, you're not your thoughts. You're just tuned to your thoughts. So go ahead and think about that for a minute. It's like, essentially, everything that you're doing is just being drawn to you. Like all these ideas, even these things that are coming to me, they're not necessarily my thoughts. They're just whatever this is tuned to. It's whatever that I'm feeling. And, I was inspired today. I'm listening to J.P. Sears, his comedy, it's beautiful. He always makes me laugh. Just his whole yogi type, modern day, spiritual guide type comedy humor. It's beautiful. Mate, he said something today about, giving yourself, about being curious of who you are. Instead of knowing who you are, give yourself the permission, ask yourself, I'm curious to know who I am. And that really like resonated with me, just to, you know, go ahead and say that I'm curious to know who I am, instead of being like, you know, 100% million moment, like this is who I am every moment of the day. And I find that everybody out there gets stuck in an autopilot mindset of who they are, and that might not necessarily be the version and sole true being of what you want to be. And whenever you look at it like that, it kind of like you got to just adjust yourself and calibrate as you go. And when you're curious to know who we are and what we really are about, I always feel that it's about smiling and that laughter and the love. And whenever you're coming from love, you're coming from energy, you can do no wrong. And I feel that you're at your best state, you're shining in your best light. Whenever you're laughing, you're doing something right. And when we're talking about how your thoughts create your reality, and when we're talking about a thought structure that comes to you has something like you know, a pendulum, as they call it, behind it, which is like the group of people, the group of whatever, the group of other people that are connected to the thought, you know what I mean? So whatever thoughts coming to you, there's an energy behind it where people are following that thought, and these are just coming to you. So that can be, you know, beneficial for a lot of things, and it could be detrimental for a lot of things. So like I always say, all truths are true. You just got to find the ones to make you. You got to find what side of the truth that you want to be on. You got to, you know, because you essentially can find evidence for everything, because there's a 2-way, 3-way, 4-way, million different ways to tell you how you're going and how you're feeling and what you're going about. And when we're talking about, you know, naturally raising your testosterone, making your penis bigger, have that huge piece of meat, swing to the knees, drop to the pecs, making you your best. I mean, we're talking about, you got to entertain these thoughts and allow them within. Because if you're going around with that naysayer attitude about what you can or can't do, your body's going to reflect what you are. So you got to understand that you got the opportunity, you got a shot today, you got a breath, you got the tuner right here that you can tune in to the grow, and you can be able to receive the message that's out there, because this isn't just me, this is beyond me. And the techniques that I teach you more hands-on, the BCC, we're talking the super joking, the super edging, the super Kegels, we're talking about integrated workouts, we're talking about working out with cock rings on, we're talking about training sane or remain the same. We're talking about techniques that are just, you know, beyond, you know, what you may or may not have heard, but they're floating out there, and they are, you know, there's something that I am, you know, grabbing and receptive to, and I'm here to share them to you in the package that I present. And I feel that the message is going to resonate where it needs to go and where it needs to flow, because essentially everybody's here to grow. And when we're talking about growing and I'm getting myself flowing, you know what we got to do? I got to get a quick pump in, because we're talking about the mind and muscle connection, man. And this is what this is all about. It's about putting your mind into the size. And there's a pendulum behind this process right here, the mind-muscle connection. There's people that understand it's the mind that makes the muscle grow. Paramahansa Yogananda, the one that I preach a lot, that wrote the book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, is the one that says the mind is the wielder of muscle. And I agree with that. And there's a whole bunch of belief with that. Steve Jobs read the book. Steve Jobs is the one that says the people that believe they're crazy enough to change the world are the ones that do. And I believe in that 100 million. I believe. You know what I mean? So I'm with that. And when we're talking about growing, I always got to say a couple mantras when I'm in the middle of the grow. I'm right here, sweating, long hair flowing, naked in a chair, body growing, spirit knowing that I'm doing something right. You go ahead and you say this mantra any time of day that you want to feel something magic. You say, I am magic, I am divine, and the universe is on my side. Another one that I love to say is I am so happy and grateful that my huge, beautiful muscles are growing bigger, harder, stronger, more defined, abundantly. And then you know the one that I gotta say, whenever I gotta get one last rep out, you go ahead and you scream and you shout, or you just say it in your head and you just go ahead and you feel this. You just go ahead and you just say, I am magic, I am divine, and I can increase my size. Oh yeah, getting Look, 2020, feel the growth, feel the flow, feel the hugeness. Beautiful. We're talking about growing here. We're talking about 2020. We're talking about making your mind increase the size, putting your mind into what you're doing, getting on the pendulum of the grow that's going to help you flow. For that, I say salute. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it today, man. I'm telling you, I was out there and it was a wet snow. So with that, it's not fresh powder, so it's like I'm snow blowing, but that snow blower it's picking up, you know, heavy, it's wet snow, so it's like weights. And a lot of places I got a shovel. And, you know, I have a Labor Day extravaganza. If you want to go through my archives, because you know me, putting content out daily where I explain about how manual labor naturally releases testosterone, and I'm a huge advocate on that. And there's a pendulum behind that, being that, you know, people that will be like, oh yeah, you know, back in the day, men used to be men. Everybody had so much more testosterone back then. It's all, you know, because we're talking about there was more labor jobs, and people that work manual labor tend to have more testosterone and make more kids. Not for nothing. Here's a quick analogy. I mean, Mexican people, there's a lot of manual labor out there, right? They make a lot of beautiful babies, is all I gotta say. So all I'm saying is, if you're swinging a hammer, if you're swinging a hammer, if you're digging a ditch, these are things that are gonna have you making some kids. You know what I mean? That was a pretty good rhyme. I can go with that. But what we're talking about is, you know, manual labor and digging down and using a shovel. I mean, that's why you got these guys in gyms that are just slamming a sledgehammer on a tire to duplicate what the working man, you know, is doing. And that's a natural testosterone release all day. And you know me, when I talk about going to sleep at night and hacking into the collective and how my mind releases the DMT, because we're talking about the pituitary gland. And that's where the growth and all that occurs. I'm telling you, when you dream at night, you're dripping that DMT. Joe Rogan, and I ain't got to snort for it, jab a vein for it. All you got to do is sleep. And whenever you're dreaming, if you're in touch with your dreams, especially if you're a vivid dreamer and you can really tap into the sleep, this is something that can help you grow. This is why a lot of bodybuilders will always agree that the one thing that they wish they can get more of is sleep. That's why they got so many products. Yeah, take this melatonin, the sleep juice, this and that. I find that the best way to sleep doesn't matter about how expensive your mattress is. It matters about how clear your mind is, because you can spend all the money in the world on the most expensive mattress in the world, and the only way to have peace of mind is to start within. And that is as real as it gets, man, because you know my philosophy. There's a sad man on a yacht and a happy man in a box. It's all about perspective. It's all about smiling. Remember, the one that's smiling is the one that's winning. So get yourself grinning, because it's a beautiful day to be alive. You got a shot today. There's no reason to be sad, mad, whatever. If you got, like I said, you're here, all right? Don't get it twisted, and understand that, you know, you got a shot. There's essentially only right now. And we're talking about thoughts and what we're really supposed to be when you're happy and just pure love. That's when we're at our best. And like I always say, man, that love, I always got to share this matrix hack every single time, because I don't care what religion you are, what like, you know, whatever your politics, whatever you happen to be. At the end of it all, we are all love. We are all beautiful. And when you really start understanding that everybody out there is a reflection of you, you're going to go out there and you're going to start treating yourself better. You know what I mean? Because you got to start with loving yourself. When you love yourself, you're loving everybody else. So whenever you hear somebody on the phone, you see somebody on the TV, somebody just crosses your mind, it's good to just go ahead and check yourself throughout the day and just see what you're saying about the situation. Just go ahead and pump the brakes for a minute and go ahead and fill it with love, and just say this, man: I intend on that soul, that being, to feel love in some kind of way, to feel beautiful today, and you just go along your way and you just hack the matrix. You're giving yourself purpose. You are changing the whole dimension of the room of wherever you're at, because you are going to be drawing out the best of characters and people. I promise you, you're going to be getting people that are going to come up to you and they're going to be like, you know, just giving you a positive message just because of the way that you have yourself present. And I'm telling you, like, no matter where you are, like, if you got to see about the situation that you were in, you got to see how you were feeling while you were in it. Now go ahead and really think about that. You got to feel about how you were in the moment, and that's essentially what everything comes down to, because as the law of attraction says, and all the gurus will tell you, the feeling is the secret. And I really, you know, I really believe in that. And when it comes to, you know, putting the muscle on and understanding that you can make your penis bigger and your muscles bigger and your body grow, you could feel the grow. And when you put your mind in control and understand that you got the power to just tap into these beliefs and tap into collective beliefs, because that's what a pendulum is that we were talking about earlier, you know, about how essentially behind everything there's like a group that's swinging with the thought, you know what I mean? So all these thoughts that are coming to you might not have as much of a pendulum behind it, you know what I mean? But there's a pendulum behind every thought. It's just a matter of what room you're in. Because looking on, even when you go by the social media, there's so many more pendulums that are being created by the moment, and you're able to tap into these sources quite easy because they're at your fingertips. And where something back at a certain time, you might have only seen the pendulum that's on the TV or where on the radio and that kind of media. Now you got so many different outlets, and you could be sitting next to somebody that's got 1 million followers, and you'd be like, "Who's that guy?" You know what I mean? That guy's on a TV show. There's so many TV shows. There's so many YouTubes. There's so many sources of information for manifestation that you got to find what side that you want to be on. So if you want to feel alive, understand that you got a shot right now. You got a breath, you got a shot today. You want to grow, let's keep it flowing, because understand that every day you want to make yourself grow. You get behind the ones that resonate with you. There's no wrong way about this, you know what I mean? You want to get all scientific with it, and like I say, I don't discredit science, but I don't discredit magic. And at the end of all science is magic anyways, because, you know, like I say, the whole gravity thing and Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill and I, the science guy, they ain't going to be able to tell you why gravity exists, but maybe they'll break it down into a fraction, micronial, quantum number. And what's a number? You know what I mean? So when we're going, well, it's all this and whatever, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that if everybody had the pendulum and the thought that we fly, and everybody was behind that pendulum, maybe that's how it would work. I'm not saying it is or it ain't, but I'm just saying that, you know, let's get behind the thoughts that you want to create, and there's ways that you can make yourself feel, and, you know, feeling is real, man. And like Rocky Balboa says, man, nothing's real unless you believe in yourself. So when we're going with that, you got to understand that, you know, being curious about who you are as a person and what your thoughts really are, it's all about what you're tuning to. So you got to understand that you got the control to tune yourself to some beautiful thoughts today. Get yourself out of anything that's not making you feel alive and making you laugh and making you smile. Because when you're at that, you're at as close to being whole and as love is what you are. You know what I mean? That's why essentially it's like, you know, you're 1 million different people from one day to the next. You know, like the song Bittersweet Symphony. I mean, that really struck a bell to me, or it struck a chord with me. You know, like I said, that whole JP Sears thing, man, it was really, you know, that was a deep message, man. It really is something that people should take and understand, that, you know, who you really are, and, like, you know, not getting lost into the character of what you're going with every day. You know what I mean? Because at the end of it all, I mean, you know, we're here now. Enjoy the now, but understand when you're smiling, you're being your best version. So the more you can do that, the more better off you're gonna be. And for that, you know, I feel like we're gonna have a lot more beautiful experiences along the way. Got so many things that I gotta say, and I just feel like, you know, like I said, man, we're talking about pendulums today. I'll be bringing this up throughout the video, throughout the future. I'm sure they're always flowing through me regardless. The BCC is a pendulum. We're talking about manifesting the best, being the giants that we are. We're talking about growing huge, having massive muscles, having that huge piece of meat throb between the pecs. Give it a kiss. How you doing? We're not worried about the little gremlins at your feet. We're talking heads in the clouds because we're huge. We're not worrying about stomping on your friend's house. We're not going to do that, you know what I mean? 'Cause we are loved. We're not worried about, you know, having that, you know, we're not worried about nothing. We're up here, all right? And that's where we keep the beauty appearing. That's where we attract the thoughts that we want to have. And any time of day that you got to do something to make yourself smile, you're doing something right. You got to get on Netflix. You got to watch somebody funny on the YouTube or Instagram. You're doing something that's beautiful. But if it's taking you away from yourself, where you're not able to, you know, where you're not able to complete and just, you know, be the best that you're out to be, then that's where you got to evaluate and figure this, you know, figure out what your, you know, your motive is. Because every single day you're putting a new shot. You know what I mean? Like you're waking up every day with a new shot at what you want to say and what you want to do. So I say whatever you want to become, make sure you're putting the right ones every single moment of what you want to be. So when you wake up tomorrow, wherever you're at, you become that version now. You feel what it is now, and you keep it coming, and eventually it's just already there, man, because that's what we are, man. We are beautiful. We are loved. Make sure you guys are spreading love today. I intend on you guys to spread some love. Make sure you guys are hitting me up on my social media, checking out my KC, taking care of the neighborhood. It's like an Arctic cat out there right now, just going through the snow. Got my wolf and my bear, Pekingese. I got a puppy. I got a whole bunch of animals over here. Whole bunch of cameos. 2020 is a beautiful year. I'll be seeing you guys around. We got so many more beautiful things to come. I love you guys. Be seeing you. Peace.